Welcome, everybody. I'm Lee Norwood with Annapolis College Consulting and Application Blueprint. And tonight we're going to show you how to read those award letters, those financial award letters that you are getting in the mail. So you've spent all this time finding the right college list, presenting, your students are presenting themselves the best that they can through their classes and the curriculum that they're taking and their test scores and their activities. And then they wrote a great essay, and then they wrote supplemental essays to get into these schools on their list. And we really wanted to make sure they had a few reaches. We had some that just really are a good fit, and then some that maybe were kind of a gimme, right? That we really felt like they were going to get in and maybe even get some merit aid money. So all of our class of 2023 who work with us one-on-one are through those pieces of the process. And now they've started to get their award and offer letters. Usually if you apply early action, you know before the beginning of the new year whether or not you're in, unless you're sitting around waiting for University of Maryland or NC State. Those always make you wait. So those are coming. If you applied there, you just don't know yet. But when you applied, I want to show you the difference between the letter that you get and then the letter that really breaks down the cost of attendance. When we at Annapolis College Consulting talk about the cost of attendance, it's all in. We don't talk about just tuition or then you add room and board and costs and this and that. It's an all-in price. So I just want to level set that. And at the end of the talk, we're going to download a list of financial aid terms so you guys will kind of know and understand what is what. So again, welcome. And I am going to share my screen. I want to show you what an offer letter looks like when you get accepted to college. Now, back in the olden days, we would get it in the mail and it was awesome, right? You'd open it up and yay, I got into here, there, wherever. These days, it usually comes in the form of an email. So we want to make sure that your students are checking their emails. And then each school where they applied will also give them a portal, which will be, they've got a website portal for accepted students, then they'll have a password and a username. So you get this award that says, hey, welcome. We're so excited to invite you to join the class of XYZ at our school. And maybe, or maybe you didn't, also get some money. So here's an award letter from 2022 that I'm going to show you right now. This is an award letter from Brandeis University. And basically, this student got this in the form of an email and later did get something in the mail. And it basically says, congratulations, you got into Brandeis and the Office of Student Financial Services, and I look forward to working with you. Here's the details. We let you in and we gave you an alumni and friends grant. That grant is worth $10,500 a year. And we want to welcome you to the school. This is an award letter. This came right after the opportunities to get in come out. And it's basically giving her or this student merit aid. That typically comes with that award letter. Now, we don't know what financial aid this student got, but we do know that this student got a Friends and Alumni grant from Brandeis. So anytime you get a scholarship or a grant, you don't have to pay it back. Loans are a different story. So this student was super happy that she got into this school. I think actually it's where she ended up going. But look at this. They're also saying your financial, whoops, I'm blacking it out, aid award includes a grant, which is renewable each year, but you're ineligible for need-based financial aid. So this person, again, portals are a big part of this process. So that was an example of just a basic first letter. Do any of you out there already have your letters? I don't know who's on and who's listening, but you already have your financial aid letters or you already have your offer letters. We're certainly willing to talk you through that tonight. So let's talk about the next thing that happens. So there's a difference. There's an offer where we want you to come and join our class. That's your offer letter. And they're going to tempt you with hurrying up and putting in your deposit because you're going to get better housing if you get that in early and all of those things. And we could talk through all of those things. But the bottom line is these schools run a business and they want to know that they're going to have a head in a bed as soon as they can. So pushing you to put that deposit down kind of guarantees that you've chosen them over someone else. So don't get sideswayed about, oh my gosh, we're going to get into the best dorm. Do you really know which the best dorm is? We kind of don't at this part of the process. So don't feel like you need to just start spending money. As a mom, I was paying housing deposits before I even knew where she was going to go to school because I had a daughter who was very, very worried about which dorm she was going to be in. So I think we learn most by real life and then the mistakes that we made. In hindsight, I really didn't need to do that. I have an apartment at the University of Maryland that she never used. Thank goodness we sublet it, right? So just slow your roll, calm down. You don't have to decide until May 1st. But if you do get into a school that you like, I do say you put the deposit down, lock it in, buy the sweatshirt, and go for the housing roll. But if some schools don't give that merit aid initially with the letter. Sometimes there's a second step. I'll use Appalachian State as an example. You get in and then you have the ability to apply for a scholarship. So your student always wants to look through that portal and find out if there's something else that they can do. The second thing is sometimes if your student applied into a certain program and they got into the college, but they also got into the program, often that program may show scholarship opportunities. So you want to, once you've decided to go there and once you're admitted and you've paid, they're going to open up the opportunity to possibly apply for some scholarships that come with that program. That too, I went through as a parent and as a college consultant. So when my daughter got into the School of Textiles at NC State and she said yes, then all of a sudden a portal opened up and said, hey, here are the scholarships within that program that you can file for. Often, if it's a state school, they're all going to be more or less about the students in the state. If you're from Monroe County, or if you're from this or that, it's big state schools like to take care of their own first and foremost, and they should. But the private schools have a little bit more money to give and a little bit wider bandwidth to see who they're going to give that to. So you always want to know and look through the whole portal. If you get in, that's one thing. Did you get money? Look in the portal. Some of you are going to look at the portal tonight and find out you got money, and you're welcome. About right now, we want to talk about the cost of attendance. I'm going to make this a little bigger on my screen. Hopefully you can see it. So it's a financial offer for the 23-24 year. And this is saying that the student has to take 15 credits per semester. Tuition and fees are $44,360 for the year, plus food, $6,400, plus housing, $6,500. If you talk to anybody on my team, they're going to say this school's around 57 grand, right? We're not going to just kind of nickel and dime and break it out. Those numbers, the two below tuition, can kind of move around depending on how much you think you want to eat and different dorm options. But for all intents and purposes, it's $57,000 to attend this school. Then this student had some other estimated costs: books, supplies, travel, and personal. They're estimating it's going to be about $4,800 a year. Depending on how steadfast you are with your finances, you can add that in or not, right? If it's close and you don't not really worried about adding airfare in or adding gas money in, you can take this price out. I will let you know, often books, lots of times kids share, lots of times they're online. That can be a movable cost. Supplies, maybe you don't want to add that in. Travel and personal, but they're trying to give you a guesstimate. So they've broken that down. Then this particular student got a Panther Fund academic scholarship, $18,000 a year. This is a gift aid that does not require repayment. So that is awesome. $9,000 a semester. If they'd gotten any additional scholarships or grants, they would have been listed here. So it's saying they got $9,000 off a semester. So their estimated direct cost after gift aid, money you don't pay back, is $39,000 a year. So we went from 57 to 39. That's pretty good. Very exciting. Then they have the student loan options, and this is where people start to get confused. Oh, we've got a direct loan. They're subsidized. They're unsubsidized. Do we pay them back? If the 4-letter word loan is on your letter, that means you're paying them back, right? Loan equals you have to repay. It always has in the history of time, but sometimes people get confused between subsidized and unsubsidized. I'll go into that on the next example, but this particular student, because their family filled out the FAFSA, they didn't get a Pell Grant. It would say that here. They didn't get any state aid or aid from the school. It would show that here, or maybe it is at the bottom. I'll look again. But what they did do, because they filled out the FAFSA, they qualified for a very low interest loan in the name of the student, and it was called the direct unsubsidized loan, which means interest starts the minute that the student takes that money, and it accrues over time. You don't have to pay these loans until after you graduate, but it's $5,500 for the whole year. Some families have students that can put a pretty big dent in that. So they're building credit, they're taking a loan, it's out in their own name, and it's low interest. So if you took the student loan option, it took your $39,000 down to $33,620. And then the Panther payment plan is allowing you to pay the rest of the balance to the university in payments. That's kind of a cool thing. You always want to look at each school. If you can pay the school directly in payments, often you're saving a lot of interest. So dig deep into that. But again, it looks like when I'm reading this offer letter that this student is only going to have to pay $33,000 a year. But let's remember what I just shared with you. That's actually not true, because $5,500 of it was a loan they were taking in their own name. So what we need to do is back up and say it's $39,000 a year to attend this school. And then I put on my super professional hat and I say, let's make sure this scholarship / grant is a 4-year one. Is it just the first year to lure them in, or is it reoccurring each year as long as they keep a certain GPA? Just know that when you're trying to decipher a financial aid offer. And if you're on the Facebook group, you can go ahead and write them in there. Whew. So that was
regarding the GPA requirement.
Yes.
In order to maintain. So what generally does a student need in order to continue to get that as a GPA? Is there a standard, or is it very school dependent, or is it major dependent? And are most students fairly successful at maintaining that?
Wow, I knew you would hit me with a hard one. So I don't know if it's standard, but if I guess, I've read so much fine print, I think it's 2.5. As a parent, you better get a 3.0. I mean, come on, you have a lot of time to study, but I think that's the GPA that you need to hold on to. If it's departmental, I think you just have to read the fine print. So two tips that we just taught you that you might not have thought about. A, is it reoccurring and not just the first year? And B, what do you have to do to keep that, right? Because you're putting this in your family budget. So let's look at another award letter for an example. Hopefully this one's going to pop right up. Yes, it is. Okay. So this is another student award letter. This person went early in the process, applied to Vassar early in the process, and by December 14th, they knew they were in. That feels good. Another aside, little asterisk, if you decide you didn't want to go there and you knew by December, you could then apply somewhere else, regular decision, right? If you, as long as you weren't locked in with like an early decision. But I like early action because you get these letters before the turn of the new year. You have a chance to look at them and compare them, and then you still have the regular decision time to maybe apply to another school or two in case maybe you changed your mind or you didn't get the offers that you wanted, all of that stuff. But I wanted to point out the date here because, I mean, that's pretty cool. They knew December 14th. Congratulations, you got into Vassar for 2027, and we're going to offer you the following financial aid award for this year. It's a provisional award, as amounts are based on the costs this year. So they're just saying if tuition goes up, it might go up. So let's look a little bit deeper into this award. I'm going to try to zoom in because I can't see now that I'm old. So again, the budget is tuition and fees, $64,800. Room and board, $16,560 for an all-in cost of $81,360. Times that by 4, I can buy a house. Wow, it's a lot, but what a great education you get at this particular school. Now let's just take that 81,360 and just crank it up a little bit more with your indirect costs. These aren't something that you're going to pay for the school, but they're saying your books and your personal expenses might be around 2,200, and travel 380. Where do they get that? Did the person drive? If they're from California, their travel's not 380. So that's why these are kind of incidentals and indirect, and they don't put it into any financial aid, but they want you to be ready if you are budgeting to know. It's funny, it looks like it costs less to hang out at Vass or with your books and your personal expenses than it did at the other school. So now this student comes down where the cost of attendance, COA, is $83,990. Well, the parental contribution, $56,750. Who knows if these parents can really afford that, or if they really, saved that much, but that's what the school is telling them based on filling out the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid. So they're saying that they looked at the analysis of the parents' financial strength and ability to pay. And the student contribution also incorporates a modest sum from summer work and a portion of student assets. So they took the FAFSA, which we recommend everybody fill out, but this school also asks for a CSS profile. It's a completely different talk, but it's another way of looking at your assets so that they can assess what they think that you can afford. It's interesting. The government always thinks I can afford way more than I actually can. So they're saying this is what they want the family contribution to be. That's the bottom. And look at, we started with 83,990, really 81,360. And they're going to break it down. This particular student got a Vassar College scholarship of $18,915 a year. Yes. They also got a federal direct loan subsidized, which means the government is going to give the student a loan in their name. And all the time that they're in college, the government's going to go ahead and pay for that interest. And then payments start within a certain amount of time after graduation. What we suggest to our families is have these students pay a little bit along the way. Just chip that down, right? So they don't walk out with that loan, but it's going to be low interest in the student's name. And again, the last one we looked at was unsubsidized. This one's subsidized. Government pays the interest. And then they gave the student work study, and they said the student can probably earn about $3,000 a year work study. Note to you, that money goes into the student's pocket. It doesn't come off of tuition. So when you're a work study student, Adrian, can you tell me, do you agree? Like, they get the best jobs on campus, right? Because it's a balance of working and studying.
Yeah, they do. They get some really good jobs. And so, I mean, it could be working in shops or stores, but it could also be doing maybe working with professors, getting paid through research work. It can vary quite a bit.
So you need to be careful. The only real scholarship grant, right, non-payback in this offer is $18,915, right? So they made this financial award based on a couple of different things. You always have to verify it, but this is a different type of award letter. But what I do think is positive that you could take from this is we took a school that was $81,000 and knocked $18,900 right off the bat, because the student presented themselves well. So not only did they get in, they presented themselves well enough to get that scholarship. And that, kudos to this student. Really, really well done. Is that the end? No, it's not the end. To me, when I look at things like that, I want that student to get all of the offers from all of their schools and play them off of each other. Some school gave me a little bit more money. The total cost of attendance is X. We want to come to your school, but this other school gave us a little bit more money. That's something that we really help with in the spring with the families that we work with. It's called negotiating more need or more aid or more scholarship. But I'm going to show you a way you can do it yourself too, and have all of your guns behind you to come in and feel strong. I have a student, and I'll probably post this on the Facebook page after the talk. She's a sophomore and she's at Tampa. And it looked like statistically she should have gotten more money to go to Tampa than she got. So their average amount that they gave kids, she got less than that. Well, here she is a sophomore and she needed the aid. So we worked with her to give her the tools to go in person and talk to the financial aid office, ask for the person one level above if the person she was talking to couldn't give her the answers. We armed her with statistics about the sophomore retention rate. She said, don't let me be one of the kids that leaves sophomore year. I want to be here. I love it. I play club soccer here. I'm going to go to graduate school here. I need this much more money. And statistically, you give kids a little more than you gave me. And daggum, if she didn't walk out with $6,000 more a year. Does that happen all the time? No. But if a student goes in and advocates for themselves, I'm so proud of this kid. And on our website, if you go on our website, one of the pages, we've got student testimonials and she'll tell you exactly what happened. So it's not over till you write the check and then you're done, right? He who cashes the check wins. I have two things I want to go over with you. Let's do this first. I'm going to show you one of my favorite tools. And I already loaded it up before we got together today. This is called Quattro Money. What I'm showing you today is actually our software that we use with our one-on-one clients, but I will tell you, you can go to Quattro Money and get it yourself. Look at me. This is me. I'm the student and I'm super smart. I got a 4.6 and a 1550 on my SAT. Completely bogus. I made it up. But I took that Vassar example, right? And what I did was I love me some Tuition Fit. What is Tuition Fit? Tuition Fit is the Kelley Blue Book for college pricing. Hey, I'm flying to Colorado and I'm sitting next to somebody who paid $90 and I paid $450. We're going to the same place, both from the same airport. Why is there that cost disparity? Well, this tool is trying to address that. I'm just going to go directly into advanced search. But what we do is we download our kids' offers. They redact the personal information like you saw before. And you're able to compare your offer to others. So let's go into Tuition Fit. And let's just say, give me a good expected family contribution. This is called Tuition Fit. You can fill out a profile yourself. And you can manage your profile and you can kind of use this in lots of different ways to see if you got a good deal and also to see maybe some schools that fit in your budget that weren't originally on your list. So that is another tool that we use. So I'm going to wrap this up. Does anybody have any questions? I showed you how to read an offer letter, several different kinds, some that had merit aid, some that had financial award offers. Please know that most of the financial award offers are going to come in the spring. So you want to keep looking at your portal. If you didn't get any financial aid and you think you should have, just wait. They're going to turn it over. They give all their financial aid usually in the spring. And then we showed you how you can use Quattro Money to see your 4-year cost and get a loan, and also how to use Tuition Fit to see if you think you got a good deal compared with other students from similar families to yours. I hope that answers all of your questions. You have until May 1st to decide. They will not take the offer away from you. So slow your roll. It's better to be able to compare offers. And that's pretty much all I have. We are always happy to help you and take any of your questions. So I hope that this was good for you. You guys have a great night. Thanks, Adrienne.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.